What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Young Jupiter, Big Jupiter, or you just call me Jupiter. Just make sure you call me. Today we got the dumbest robberies caught on camera. Now, I'm not telling people to be a criminal, be a robber, or whatever. But don't go out there if you, for one, don't have no business doing it, and two, you not good at it. Then you do it on camera, then a lot of people do it during the daytime. How dumb are you? Whatever. I'm gonna leave a link to the original video down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Without further ado, let's just get it to it.
From the bandit who steals a manual car he can't drive, to the thief in a tight...
So the video just started. So you telling me somebody was finna steal a car and it was a stick? Man. Why I'm losing hope for humanity sometimes. Hey.
Who slips things into her panties. These are the thieves who have an incredible level of stupidity. Category of stupid robberies. This one is one of the most aberrant and comical. We first see a couple outside entering the store, and then a slightly laggard friend joining them. Obviously, her hair is causing her problems, since she keeps straightening it. While the young man stands in the corner of the store, the two girls browse the shelves, and they have a definite plan, to buy cans of Mountain Dew soda for the price of the drinks in the soda fountain. One circumstance that justifies this great scam is that the machine doesn't serve the drink they wanted. At least that's what they thought. Maybe this theft was a challenge they discovered on social networks and wanted to take up. Maybe it's a simple entertainment for them. Nevertheless, it is a stupid theft, since it is totally useless, as you will see. The two girls grab the cans and head for the soda fountain, out of sight of the cashiers. Then, they discreetly pour the contents.
So y'all just didn't think the store just didn't have cameras? Every store got cameras.
Can into the cup, eliminating the evidence of their crime. To keep up appearances, one of them will pour a few moments later. The young brunette woman will steal a cookie, with the complicity of their friend who is still standing at the bottom. Their illicit shopping finished, they nonchalantly leave the store, all happy with their turn. Unfortunately for them, all the sequences of the flight were recorded, and the images are so clear that we can identify their faces perfectly. But what's really ridiculous is that the two young ladies went to all the trouble of getting their favorite drink served by the soda fountain. They could have just checked first, before making their move. Considering the ease with which the two young women carried out—
Like I said, if you not no real criminal, don't try to be a criminal that you ain't got no business doing.
Theft, one can fear that they are not used to it. The Indian state of Haryana was the scene of a very surprising crime, during the month of April this year. A gang of thieves deprived a whole district of vaccines. As the country faced an alarming shortage of COVID-19 vaccine and the health crisis took its toll, a group of bandits set out to loot an entire shipment of vaccine. After breaking into the Jind hospital, the thieves ransacked everything in their path, breaking into locks and storage units. They were able to steal a total of 1,710 vaccines, without touching the medicines or cash. The reason their plan was so successful is that the hospital administration had not installed any security equipment. Worse, they didn't even have a security guard. But immediately after the theft, the local police registered a complaint against the perpetrators, who have not yet been identified. Were these thieves enemies of the public good, loners, or part of a network? It is likely that this theft was useless, since most vaccines degrade very quickly if they are not kept at an extremely low temperature. Even for
Dumb criminals. Who don't know this? I literally know just a little about medicine, but even I know that.
Storing vaccines is no easy task. But how could this gang of brutal thieves, who break everything in their path, have delicately placed these stolen vaccines at precise temperatures? Unfortunately, COVID-19 vaccines, like drugs and some medicines, are widely circulated on the dark web, and these greedy and selfish thieves do not hesitate in front of the lure of this gain. In China's Qinhuai district, there is a man, nicknamed Wang, who once had the misfortune to incur a large gambling debt. It was imperative that he pay this debt, but he was far from having the necessary sum. In this critical situation, some people sometimes think of dishonest ways to get money. Wang, for example, had a bright idea inspired by Western films.
I never forget that scene. Dude, how do you steal an ATM and the ATM is empty? I would never forget that. That was the dumbest thing you could ever do.
Idea is very simple to carry out. It does not require violence, hostage-taking, or unparalleled computer skills. Wang was sure that by pouring bottles of water into vending machines, he would be able to produce a short circuit that would make all the bills in the machine flow out. The surveillance videos show him pouring several bottles into 3 vending machines without the slightest hindrance, causing material damage estimated at over 22,000 euros. It is difficult to determine how much profit this madman could have made from all this damage. However, it is certain that everything became more complicated for him, since the police—
Bruh, it's ATM. Why did you think you was gonna get away with it?
identified and found him. And the funny thing is that he dared to say that the culprit was his twin brother. We imagine that his debt must have been improved by a nice fine, and that all the problems he had must have put him off the game. In any case, we had a lot of fun with him. Here's a hell of a duo. 2 hooded thieves determined to break into a store in China. For more discretion, they had decided to commit the crime in the middle of the night. Their plan of
At least they were smart. They had hoods on. It was the middle of the night. You know, it was thought out. Even though they still probably gonna get caught, but it was a thought out crime.
was not excessively worked. It was to break the front door of the store with bricks previously brought, and to help themselves at will once inside. We see them arrive. They look suspicious and examine the surroundings. But as soon as they are sure not to be observed, they pass to the action. The first, closer to the door, throws the brick. Then he wants at once to change position, and does not see that his accomplice had projected the brick in his turn. This one struck him in full head. He falls stiff.
Bro got knocked out by his own friend's brick. How? Things like this is when you know you don't have no business doing any type of crime.
At once, and loses consciousness. His friend then tries to get him up, but his sidekick is perfectly inert, and he is forced to drag him. If the 2 individuals have traveled a long distance without a vehicle, they are not at the end of their pain. In any case, it's a nice ending, and a good illustration of karma. These images from different surveillance cameras are of poor quality, but we can very well follow the movements of this thief, who likes to complicate his life. He had planned to break into a supermarket, not through the front door, but by climbing onto the roof. But his adventure will not be easy. He is first filmed outside the building, trying to climb a wall from a fairly accessible height. However, he doesn't succeed at first, and we see him take a fall that must have hurt him a lot, but not enough to discourage him. A few moments later, he tries again, and this time with more success. The thief then disappears from the camera's field and works on the roof to open an access and enter the establishment. He succeeds, we don't know how, but it is at the price of a terrible upheaval. Indeed, one sees various components of the roof suddenly collapsing, carrying in their fall the theft, which falls for the second time. However, he quickly gets up, all triumphant, because the hardest part is over. The thief only has to fill his cart as he wishes.
So, but you still went in without a mask. It's a grocery store. You knew it was gonna be cameras. This is right to be the dumbest robberies, cause, oh my God.
Forgetting of course to strip the box. He is the master of the place. But getting out of the store was perhaps harder than getting in. In the next few minutes, he will fail at everything he sets out to do. We first see him struggling to break the window, then trying to get out through the open roof, using a ladder that ends up slipping out from under his feet, causing him to fall a third time. That's
what you get. Everything that's happening to you is your karma. You falling off that ladder, everything that's happening is your karma.
The thief, whom we almost feel sorry for, tries to break the surveillance camera that he has finally noticed, but he misses. Finally, by lassitude, he sits down on a barrel and smokes a cigarette while the police arrive on the scene. His adventure, in any case, was rich in twists.
That was the only thing you could do. You have to just sit there at that point and wait on the police to come, because this right here was idiotic.
Turns, and by telling it, he will have something to amuse his cellmates. The shortest robbery attempts are the best. In Thailand, Suphachai Panthong, a 27-year-old man, entered a jewelry store. He had no intention of buying any charm. His not-so-inventive plan was simple: to run away from the store once he had the jewel in hand. We see him enter, a little uncomfortable, going back and forth, then asking to try on a gold necklace.
It's the fact that that's the necklace you was gonna steal. Look how little it is. Like, what do you think? Were you gonna sell it, or were you just gonna wear it around? Oh my God.
worth 600 euros. The jeweler hands it to him, and Sufachai tries it on, adjusts it, examines it, and rushes towards the closed door. Bam! Closed. It would seem that his physiognomy did not inspire confidence in the clairvoyant salesman, who had surreptitiously locked the front door. The thief is thus trapped without knowing it, and all he will get is to wear the precious necklace for several seconds. He is ashamed, goes back and gives the necklace back to the seller, who doesn't seem surprised or even...
Look, like, you know how embarrassed I would have been to just be like, I would have gave my life over to Christ after that, because that is embarrassing.
Angry. A few moments later, the police proceeded to the arrest of the Thai, who deserves the prize for the most ridiculous attempted robbery. Two thieves, in a black vehicle, had decided to steal a car. Not a parked car, by forcing the door, out of sight, but a moving car, by bullying and threatening the driver. The black vehicle with tinted windows is seen in the surveillance footage blocking the path of an oncoming white car, which had no choice but to brake. Immediately the armed robber jumps out of his vehicle, rushes towards the driver at the stop, and threatens him by summoning him to release his car. This one obeys without opposing resistance, and moves away, the hands raised of the malefactor. The thief's method was all too successful, and the white vehicle is now his. But a circumstance, comical for us, and painful
That's what you get, dumbass. It's a stick.
him, will quickly make him disenchanted. The stolen car was manual, and the thief didn't know how to drive it at all. He
That's what
didn't
you
even
get.
know how to start the car, and from time to time, it looked like he wanted to ask his victim for driving lessons. In short, he couldn't handle the situation at all, and he also made a serious mistake, which was to cause his arrest. He stayed still for a long time at the crime scene, in front of a lot of witnesses, instead of running away.
That's what you get, dumbass.
What happens next is inevitable. The police intervene with a speed that is to be commended, and the thief and his accomplice are arrested. All's well that ends well. The victim of the theft gets his car back and the thieves are incarcerated. If the thieves had thought for a moment, they would have better targeted the vehicle to be stolen. In a store in Krasnodar, Russia, a young woman dressed in a short, tight dress shamefully made a spectacle of herself to the world. She first went to this establishment with a specific idea in mind: shoplifting. As there was only one customer, quite mobile but not very curious about the affairs of others, she was not much hindered in her maneuver. But her robbery technique is original, to say the least. Thus, in the pictures, we see her, in front of the refrigerator, stealthily seizing half a dozen articles that she immediately hides under her panties. She deftly manages to avoid arousing suspicion, but she doesn't get off scot-free. Certainly, she won her bet, and was not chased out of the store. And whatever food was stolen, she must have enjoyed the taste of the forbidden fruit. However, when she entered the store, she didn't have the intelligence to check if there were cameras or not. The consequence of this stupid...
That's why everybody don't need to be a criminal. Sit your ass down somewhere.
Prudence is that the images of her pilfering, published by the security, made the turn of the world, and that she became the laughing stock of all the internet users. In addition, the police came after her, and given the clarity of the surveillance camera footage, it's hard to imagine that the thief eluded them for long. Anyway, after the
You're not caught in 4K, but you caught in like 420p, something like that. But it's still clear enough for the people to see you.
this event, she will surely not risk to do it again. We are now at the end of the video. Tell us what you think in the comments. Among all these thieves, which one deserves the prize for stupidity?
Bro, this shit was embarrassing. I am embarrassed. As a human race, they should be embarrassed for themselves. I don't know, I might get my resignation of being a human, because that shit was just pitiful. Oh my God, like, I don't even know what else to say. Lord help them. That's the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you will. I'm out.